Hello everybody, Resonance here, and today I've got a little update video for you guys on the current state of my channel and my plans for the future. I like to do these type of update videos to keep you guys a little bit in the loop, that way you know exactly why I'm doing things the way I am, and then where we're going from here. So right now, first let me just say that the channel right now is actually going pretty well, so I'm really thankful for that. I appreciate all the support. Especially on Twitch. I've actually been gaining Twitch subscribers recently, which is something that, you know, it had been stagnating for a really long time and even steadily dropping, so the fact that I'm actually gaining a lot of Twitch subs is wonderful, so I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. It's great to see all these fresh faces as well as the old familiar ones as well, and it might actually be possible, and I never thought it would be, but I might eventually be able to get new emotes as well. We're floating somewhere around 160 Twitch subs right now as of this video, and if that keeps rising at 250 Twitch subs, I can actually get new emotes. I never thought I'd be able to do it, but maybe in 2016 it'll actually happen. And on the YouTube side of things are going pretty well, but they could be going a little bit better, and there are a lot of reasons why that is. So, for starters, I've been doing Age of Empires 2 content for an incredibly long time. You know, I have well over 400 AoE videos by now, so chances are that everything that I do you've probably seen before, and I'm at this point bound to repeat ideas that I've already done. So it's very difficult for me to actually keep things fresh, and I think that that hurts a little bit of interest in it. There are a lot of ways I could, you know, mix things up, and I've been trying my best to do that, you know, by throwing in things like expert games, you know, break the meta videos. I've been doing those free-for-alls recently. I did that African Kingdoms tournament. I have, you know, tutorials and whatnot, so I have been trying to mix it up. It's just that at this point, I've basically done it all at least several times. And the thing is that Age of Empires 2 gameplay videos, I think, are very, very useful to learning the game, but there's a very finite cap on how popular those gameplay videos can actually be. Not only because it's difficult to actually keep the format fresh, but also because those videos happen to be very long and difficult to actually pinpoint specific ideas to share it around or just look for, you know, very specific topics. So one thing I could do if I wanted to experience a lot more growth in YouTube is to do videos in sort of a Spirit of the Law style format, because his videos are very topical and focused on a very specific concept, and since they're not really like standard gameplay videos and they happen to be very topical, they're also shorter, which makes them a lot easier to watch. One of the things with Age of Empires 2 is that the games are incredibly fun. It's just they're also very long, so it's difficult for some people to actually sit through an entire Age of Empires 2 game, which is why gameplay videos for AoE aren't usually as huge on YouTube, so there's a couple things to keep in mind. I could do videos in a sort of Spirit of the Law-esque format, especially considering that, you know, obviously he doesn't have a monopoly on educational style videos, but the reason why I'm not doing that is because I feel like all of the, or many of the relevant and helpful topics have either been covered by myself, Spirit of the Law, Zero Empires, etc. in, you know, videos already, so it's difficult for me to actually cover anything fresh, and if I was going to do things like that, I think I would run out of actually relevant topics extremely quickly. The thing is with YouTube is this is the type of thing that I would like to be able to keep up for a long time and keep the level of quality high, so I want to make sure that I'm not scraping the bottom of the barrel eventually once I run out of relevant topics, because the thing with Age of Empires 2 is that unlike other games, Age of Empires 2 rarely changes, and when it does change, it doesn't actually change at a competitive level because the pros don't play on AoE 2 HD because AoE 2 HD is very buggy, has a lot of performance issues, and is missing out on a lot of necessary competitive features like a functional spectator mode that, you know, the spectators don't actually contribute to the ping, and it's missing a lot of those things. The Voobly spectator system is, you know, for starters, a lot better, so it's very difficult to maintain those type of, you know, topical videos and tutorials and whatnot when there are so many excellent ones of them out there, and Age of Empires 2 really only changes for the casual viewer base, and I feel like my gameplay videos do a good job showing those type of changes and strategies. Now, another way to bring in more views, of course, is I could just produce more Age of Empires 2 content in general. I could do additional Age of Empires 2 streams, I could make more videos on the game, but there are a lot of reasons why I don't do that, and for starters, I already produce a lot of Age of Empires 2 content. I have over 400 videos on my YouTube page on the game, and it's constantly rising, and there are plenty more on the way, and I know that a lot of my videos actually do come from my Twitch streams, but I handle my Twitch live stream in a very different way than most streamers do. I try to make sure that every broadcast is extremely high quality, very interactive, and I put a lot of effort into each individual commentary to try and make it as interactive and helpful as possible. Those Age of Empires 2 HD Edition community streams are incredibly fun for me, and they're honestly my favorite part of the week and something I always look forward to. The thing is, though, is I don't think I could do too many more of those beyond, you know, the once a week thing that I do, because I think I would find it very exhausting at a point. Not only is it a very high effort production for me, but also setting it up is very difficult at times due to the unstable, buggy, featureless nature of Age of Empires 2 HD Edition. It actually takes a really long time for me to get a good game and get everyone in a lobby, and I think if it was much easier to actually get everybody in a game, get a high-quality, stable match, then I would be able to do more Age of Empires 2 content in general. It's just, unfortunately, it's a lot harder than it needs to be. Like, even if I wanted to record a bunch of matches offline and then do some sort of post-commentary and upload those, it's difficult for me to do that too often because it's just hard to get a game in general that's actually good. You know, players are disconnecting, crashing, lagging left and right. It's very difficult to actually get balanced teams too because players' ratings are all over the place, and it's almost sort of meaningless and arbitrary on HD with how easy it is to actually exploit the ranked system. So, yeah, it's actually quite hard to get a good game, and as a result, I think it limits the amount of videos that I can do. Now, despite any of these issues, of course I'm going to be continuing doing Age of Empires 2 content for the foreseeable future. We're gonna have Age of Empires 2 community streams every Friday like normal, and there's also going to be a lot of Age of Empires 2 content specifically for YouTube on the way as usual. The reason why I haven't been able to do that recently is because my focus, as you're probably aware, has been on Feudal Wars over the last month, and I've also been very busy with schoolwork, but once I have all of that sorted out, then it's back to the usual, you know, upload schedule and whatnot. So none of that is gonna change. So let's talk a little bit now about this idea of extra content. So the thing is that, believe it or not, actually a huge chunk of my viewer base actually used to play Age of Empires 2 actively. I think that's something that we all share in common, but a lot of them actually don't play that much Age of Empires 2 right now, and I think that, you know, especially when I look at actually the Steam chart data for this game, you can see that a lot of new players, they flock to Age of Empires 2 HD Edition. They are blown away by the fact that their favorite childhood game is actually still relevant and has a community. They find my videos, they make friends with you guys, we hang out, we play some games, and then they start playing online and they realize, oh my god, this is bad. It is like all lag, smurfs, crashes, you name it from here. So a lot of them end up leaving over time and moving on to other games, and as a result, I find that I actually have a very high turnover rate in my viewers, and that there are, you know, a reasonable chunk of people who haven't played Age of Empires 2 in several weeks, but they just come by to say hello. On the flip side, of course, there are plenty of people who play Age of Empires 2 regularly and are extremely dedicated to the game. So part of what I do is trying to find a balance between appealing to both sides by constantly producing Age of Empires 2 content, but I also recognize that I should be doing something on the side, offering something for the people who used to play Age of Empires 2, but they're a little bit bored with it right now. Give them a reason to come back and watch my stuff, because I know they're still around, they're just not super big into AoE right now, or they're waiting for some sort of big bug fix or a content update to try and spark their interest. And this brings me to the most important topic of this video, this idea of extra content, which I've been known to do from time to time. Anything that I upload that's not Age of Empires 2 is not a replacement for AoE 2 content, it's just something extra on the side as a little bit of a supplement. For my viewers, of course, that are a little bit less interested in Age of Empires 2 now than they used to be, and also to bring in fresh blood. If you support the Age of Empires 2 community, and if you support my channel, one of the best things you can do is to actually, you know, be supportive of the extra content that I do. Because the thing is if I do something for a game like Hearthstone, I'm bringing in people, and then I'm also exposing them to this idea that the Age of Empires 2 community is not dead. So if that content goes well, then it also brings more people into the AoE 2 community and helps fuel my channel. Regardless of what game they come from, there were a lot of people who played Age of Empires 2 as a kid, myself included of course, who would be blown away and very pleasantly surprised to find that their favorite childhood game still actually had an active community. Basically, any channel that actually lasts on YouTube needs to do something on the side. They can't just dedicate themselves to one game. And because eventually interest in that game does wane, and all the successful channels on YouTube do content for more than one type of game. So whenever I do something that's not Age of Empires 2, I really don't want you guys to see it as a competition, but rather you should be like, Oh, great, Resonance is, trying something like Hearthstone. This is wonderful, because if this goes well, this means that he can continue doing Age of Empires 2 content until basically the end of time. So whenever you take the time to leave a like rating, leave a comment, or just support any content that I do that's not Age of Empires 2, you're also supporting more AoE 2 videos as well. So I ask that if you're truly a fan of my channel and you'd like to support it, that if you're not interested in something like Hearthstone, that you either give it a chance and hopefully you like it, or you leave me some constructive feedback, or if you're just truly not interested, that you don't watch it. If you leave a dislike rating, then that basically sends a signal to me that you just don't support my channel in general and you don't want to see any videos from me at all. So I tremendously appreciate the people who take the time to try and show it some love anyway, even if it's not your type of game. It really does mean a lot to me, so thank you so much in advance. But of course, the question is on everyone's mind, Renaissance 22, why Hearthstone? Why not play insert RTS game here? Well, the answer to that question is actually very simple. I happen to legitimately really enjoy Hearthstone, and I find it a lot of fun. A lot of people are just asking me for more content in general, and it's something I'd be happy to deliver on. The thing is, though, is that whenever I do extra content, it better be for a game that I actually legitimately enjoy, and Hearthstone is one of my favorite games of all time, so I feel like it's a very fitting thing. If I'm playing games just because they happen to be an easy transition for Age of Empires 2 players, but I'm not actually having fun, I really think that that would dramatically impact the quality of that content, so whenever I do videos, I want it to be as a way for me to sort of share a bit of myself with you, the kind of things that make me tick, and I believe if I'm really passionate about a game, then it shows through the actual content, and that is reflected in the quality. I mean, one of the lame things is that even though Age of Empires 2 is by far my favorite game of all time, I really feel like a lot of other RTS games are kind of hit and miss. I really haven't played another RTS game that I've liked nearly as much as Age of Empires 2. They all just kind of feel like they missed the point. Maybe I'm spoiled, but I really feel like over the years, RTS developers have sort of lost track of what made Age of Empires 2 so awesome and timeless. I think it speaks highly of the game when the fact that this game is ancient and yet it still has a massive community and I'm still here playing it. And of course, I still always have my eyes peeled for any sort of new RTS game that happens to capture the same sort of magic and feel and quality of gameplay that Age of Empires 2 does, because, like I said, still by far my favorite game of all time. That's why I'm trying to help with projects like Feudal Wars and Empires Apart, because hopefully one of these guys or someone else is eventually gonna get it right and I get a new awesome RTS game to play. The thing is, though, is that RTS games aren't the only game I play. I love strategy games in general. They don't actually have to be real-time, they can be turn-based as well, and even though Hearthstone's a card game, there still is a lot of strategy to it, and I think it's really fun. But of course, I know that Hearthstone is a very different game from Age of Empires 2, which makes it a little bit harder to support. I just ask, though, that if you legitimately support my channel and you want to see me succeed and stick around in the long run, that you resist the urge to leave a thumbs down, and instead, you give it a shot, you leave a thumbs up, and maybe even you try the game yourself, or you offer some constructive criticism to me. I would be really happy to answer as many questions as you guys have during my live streams for the game, and to also provide you guys with the necessary tools to enjoy that type of content. So, before I do any Hearthstone stuff, I've been spending the last month, basically, carefully scripting and collecting footage and whatnot for a very detailed intro to Hearthstone style thing. That way you guys can feel at home in case you're willing to give it a chance. But if you're not interested, it's okay, I understand. All I ask is that instead you just remain neutral to it and you enjoy the Age of Empires 2 content that is always on the way. Because again, that stuff's on the side and you don't have to watch it, but I'd prefer if you give it a try. I do think that having some sort of consistent plan where I can do something semi-regularly on the side like Hearthstone is actually very, very important. And I didn't really bring this up earlier, but variety is also very important for my own sanity as well, in addition to actually the longevity of the channel. Now that doesn't mean, though, that I won't still be doing the occasional extra stream on the side based off your guys' suggestions. I'd love to do something like that. A lot of people have been asking me for some sort of community choice thing where maybe once every other week or something you guys would vote in a game and I would dedicate one stream to that, and that would really keep things fresh and I can show you guys, my thoughts on all the various other strategy games or whatever popular games there are out there. I think that'd be a lot of fun and that's something I would like to do, but before that I'd like to get some stability, consistency sorted out before I do that. And the only reason why I haven't done something like an Age of Empires 3 stream so far is because I really don't know that much about the game, I guess, and it's not a game that I play regularly, so I feel like that would sort of impact the quality of it. But regardless, as long as it's not like a consistent thing, I'd be happy to do those as a sort of one-of. I think it's a fun idea. So let me end off this video by saying thank you so much for watching so far, because if you made it to the end, then chances are you're probably a huge fan of the channel, and I really value you a lot. Seriously, I have one of the best communities on YouTube and Twitch, and it's not something I take for granted. I value each of you on an individual level, and that's why I take the extra time to always provide context before I, do anything. And I'm a big believer of this idea that one of the reasons why, for example, when Zero Empires uploaded the Feudal Wars trailer, that it was met with a lot of negative feedback was because there was no context. A lot of people were just like, whoa, what is this Feudal Wars out of nowhere? And I don't want you to be watching my stuff and not really, I guess, know very well what my plans are, where I'm going. And I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here and that we feel like one big, happy community family. So I hope that this video, clears up a lot of things and you feel a little bit more comfortable about when I do extra content. When I do extra content, if you're a huge fan of AoE, the type of reaction I think you should have is, oh, thank God Resonance is taking a risk going outside of his comfort zone, because whenever this extra content, if it goes well, then that means there is plenty more Age of Empires 2 content coming for the foreseeable future. It's not a competition. And so I'm going to do my best to continue bringing you guys some awesome Age of Empires 2 content and content for other games, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in the future. So please let me know what you think in the comment section below, and if this clears up some stuff for you, and if everything I said makes sense. And of course, when I do, finally try that Hearthstone thing out, please do let me know, especially from the perspective of an Age of Empires player, whatever's going on that doesn't make sense, because I want to do everything I can to make you feel as welcome as possible. So as always, guys, thank you so much for the support. It means a lot to me, and I really look forward to just continuing being on YouTube and Twitch and doing what I do. So yeah, this is going to be a great year, and I'll see you all around. Thank you so much for watching.